and Skype will not full screen. Alright, so welcome everybody to Smash Talk. This is episode 4 of our second season coming out here. I am joined today by Cappy, Lord Sturm, and myself. It is a small crew today, but hey, not too bad.
We living.
We'll have a good little conversation here.
Yeah.
So anyways, jumping right into things. I don't want to waste any time because you guys know us by now. Let's talk about the patch that just came out, because that's the big news currently, obviously.
Yeah.
Buffs and nerfs. Where do you guys want to start?
I don't know. What happened? What did it? Was there only a fair nerf on Sheik? Was that it? Let's talk about
Sheik.
What happened to her? There's a lot of. That's like, because everywhere I go, there's different information on it.
Okay, so Sheik had initially with her fair, technically she had a weak hitbox and a strong hitbox. Those are now flipped on which one gives the strong hitbox and which one gives the weak hitbox, which really doesn't matter that much considering their base knockback is like the same. It's just damage output that is different.
Oh, okay.
And then the damage went down a little bit and the knockback growth went up a little bit.
Oh, so they're trying to stop it from comboing?
I think they're trying to stop it from comboing to like a later extent, but really it didn't change her combo ability. She can still pretty much pull almost everything she used to, if not pretty much everything. It's gonna be like really specific stuff that doesn't combo anymore. Like you couldn't combo Rosalina at like 78 before, but now you can't till like, or now you can't at like 77.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really not a big change.
Nothing's happened.
Well, characters had really big changes.
A couple characters had some good changes.
I think the buffs are the most interesting part of the patch.
None of the nerfs were huge. The Luigi has a couple extra frames of lag on Fireball, which guarantees that you can jab out of it with a fast jab. Like you can jab Fireball to grab, even at like high rage.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You can also do and also he had one other nerf, didn't he? Back air kills later, or someone told me that. I don't know if that was true though.
No, I don't think that's actually true.
But and then were there any other major nerfs actually? Wait,
Sonic
I have one.
A little bit of an Sonic can't kill again.
Sonic got a like
what?
4. He got a 4 like
forward smash nerf on his knockback by like 0.5% or something really.
It's knockback growth, and it went down like 4 digits, and it was nothing.
It's really trivial. What was the other one?
Biggest nerf hands down.
Before you get on your soapbox about, I know what you're gonna say. Let's talk about what really the biggest nerf is, and that's Fox.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Fox is the biggest nerf.
I would probably agree.
However, now he's really more on. I agree with the nerf just based on game design, because they basically removed all of those jab infinites for even Link. And
right.
Link was not exactly a threat to the top 5 characters in the game.
Yo, DDDs is still living though.
Don't tell anyone.
He's fat, all right. It's fine. Seriously, if all fatties, they're fat for a reason.
Give them jab links. That's all heavy characters get jab links. But anyways, in my opinion, Fox was nerfed, yes, but he still retains a lot of what he could do.
Like he gets quite strong.
He still can do like jab to up smash. He can up smash off the second jab. He can footstool off jab 2 now.
Yeah,
which is also
now
super
it's a
interesting.
Mix-up instead of just being a combo you from left to right. And
yeah, you can't like drag him to the edge.
Yeah.
But biggest nerf, no one's talked about it yet. I haven't tweeted about it yet. I don't know. I haven't seen anyone post about it. Me Gunner is gutted.
Oh, right.
So
you know what? I did actually see your tweet about that.
Super pissed. But Me Gunner's grenade no longer explodes on Clank. So you can just like nair through it with a long-lasting nair and just body Me Gunner's end lag.
That's
so he was trades the character, and now he's just nair me the character.
Well,
so Free Gunner is freer.
Gunner is freer. So they buffed his like Fox Laser Blast. Sweet. So They took his worst move and made it like do. It went from 3.6% to 4%. Awesome.
I like how they buffed Mii Brawler's ultimate uppercut and burning dropkick, but did nothing to Hurricane Spin.
Yeah, people still seeing that hip hop helicopter. Like, I don't know, but Mii Gunner, outside of if he's not small, like he loses a lot of what he normally is. As soon as he's medium weight, medium height, it's like, I don't really fear this that much anymore. Because you're not, like, you don't get kill combos at 60 with medium Mii Gunner. Like, you lose that combo after, like, 40%.
Yeah, dude.
So, yeah, just don't play Mii's.
Yeah, Mii's are... Well,
basically
except the Sword Fighter buffs.
Sword Fighter was buffed.
Sword Fighter got a lot of buffs.
Yeah. So
He
did
he has a training mode infinite.
Yeah. We have yet to see with the Chakram.
Or is it
the Chakram. You do the light throw, and then you just run forward and light throw again, and you just keep doing it.
I don't know if that's actually an infinite.
Yeah, nobody tested it with DI or anything.
Yeah.
So, buff characters.
I have to see it in a tournament.
The characters who got buffs, the big buffs, in my opinion. Robin, huge buff.
Yeah, Robin.
Huge.
Robin's a big deal.
Robin's is a big deal. Diddy Kong, I think, it got pretty good buffs. The fact that you can't really fall out of up smash anymore, well, less so. You can, but less so. It's better. Like, that's a pretty big deal for a character that was already really good. It's just like a compounding buff. I think Greninja got huge buffs with the down throw combos.
Where's on here? Oh, yeah.
Wii Fit got huge buffs.
Removing 7 frames, just back to Greninja, removing 7 frames off of his down throw end lag, that's big.
That's really big.
And then Kirby with the big buffs.
Yeah, boy!
So, for those who don't know, Wii Fit got all-around damage buffs. Her grab and F Smash hit a little lower now. It's still not enough to like hit Crouching Kirby and Jiggly and stuff like that, but it does hit lower. And Duck Hunt, that's right. Duck Hunt got a buff to his F Smash. So
which is really good because his F Smash would miss a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Did you mention Donkey Kong?
Oh, that's right, Donkey Kong with the cargo toss.
He has cargo toss junk.
He can combo it into up air now, right?
Apparently, there are specific percentages where Donkey Kong can combo cargo throw to up air at kill percentage on every single character. It's just different on every single character.
Right. Yeah, that's what I heard. So that's super good.
So and he got like a 5 frames off his like first acting frame on roll or dash attack.
What?
So he can act 5 frames sooner. So I actually don't know if that leads into anything, but like it just reminds me of like PM. Like I'm waiting for him to be able to combo out of it like PM. Because that would be hype.
And once again, I do not believe any other than Mii's customs were affected by the patch.
As far as I know, I don't know if any. I'm sure Villager was already tested. That would be the big one if it got changed.
Yeah. No, I heard
Villager's patch notes.
I heard Pikachu's Thunder Wave doesn't infinite
anymore. Oh, that's right. It did. It doesn't infinite anymore. It changed the knockback on it.
However, that was also a change to his neutral special, Thunder Jolt 1.
Okay.
So it has to do with every single Thunder Jolt, not just the Thunder Wave. And it just coincidentally removes it.
Oh, I bet they did that on purpose.
In the most Sakurai way of balancing.
I feel like that was intentional.
All right.
Yeah, it could have been intentional.
So, out of all these buffs, do you guys see any of these pushing a character up into relevancy where they weren't before?
I think Wii Fit could get on up there for sure. I think like there's so much knockback growth and everything got buffed basically. I mean, and she can grab shorter people. Like one of her problems was short people, and while Kirby and Jigglypuff are still problems because she can't just.
Is that the
I've already tested this.
Way to say that?
She can grab short people.
You think I care about that? Anyway.
They prefer to be called dwarfs.
It's just better. Like she can do more, so she doesn't just like whiff a smash and get super punished for it. And they're stronger. And that Xylus was showing me some cool header stuff you can do. I mean, she has more, and so the potential to rise up is there for Wii Fit, for sure.
And
which is
she
exciting.
Already showed the most potential at Evo.
Dude, yeah.
It was pre-buff.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
think Robin is his buffs, its buffs are huge.
Mm-hmm.
Just alright, so general damage buffs to basically all of her thunder moves. They all went up a little bit. And then the big one is the down throw.
Yeah.
This game is defined by like down throw combos. So many characters have down throw combos. And now she's up there and she has DI mix up down throw kill move, like to kill option.
Yeah. Now that she has a kill throw, like a combo into kill throw, like it's just that, and her up air is so strong.
Mm-hmm. It'll kill at like 80 on some characters.
My issue with Robin is like none of these changes fix her neutral.
Her neutral still butt.
I'm just gonna keep saying she's just so slow. Like that's just personally, I think she just she like Ganon jogs across the stage, and yeah, just the fact that she needs to get in and approach.
The thing, like I still don't see her being like a high tier character. Like it's not like you're gonna see this Robin player come in and just like body chic.
Yeah, I don't see but I do see Robin rising. Like,
I do see her rising into probably like easily. I see her in the high of mid tier ish range.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly low high tier. I mean, we'll see what happens. But like the biggest thing for me was Robin was always a really really strong punish character. Like if you messed up against Robin, you were eating %. But the thing is, if Robin was shielding, you weren't really eating anything. You were gonna get thrown, and it was like, all right, that's fine. So like now you have to respect Robin's shield game as well. And it's not so much free pressure.
You have to fear the grab now.
Yeah,
sometimes that's all it takes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That is good.
I mean, but they're
good changes. They're the right direction, definitely.
Yeah,
agreed.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll see if grabs kind of remain the huge meta point that they are too. Like, there's been talk about why Luigi may or may not be as high as he is because people just need to like recognize that playing anti-grab is a thing. I guess it's a lot of people like, I don't know. I view it sort of like Ice Climber style where it's like you can't get grabbed, but it's not Ice Climber style where it's get grabbed once die.
Well, it's different. It's different in our game than it is in the games with Ice Climbers, because our game doesn't feature things like out canceling and ways to put stuff onto someone's shield safely necessarily, because that is a part of why shield is so strong in Smash 4 is because of how much lag aerials have and how it's really hard to put safe pressure onto a shield
and how little shield stun there is.
Definitely.
Right. But anyways, as we were talking just a moment ago about tiers, and that's actually something that we were going to be talking about today, is the existence of tiers. A, whether or not they exist. B, how they should be discussed and what is their merit for the C option there, I guess. And like kind of what goes into a tier list and what should decide like placement. Should it be matchups? Should it be like character strength? Whatever. But anyways, I want to start with, do you guys believe tier lists exists? I mean, that's like the big question that you see from people all the time, I guess. There are so many people out there that believe that they don't exist, but what do you guys think?
Okay. Right now, there are somewhat clearly defined areas where characters could fall, but because there are patches, it's hard to determine hard placements.
I think that I think you can really clearly make in Smash 4's case specifically, you can make a case for, like, you can clearly just divide characters into competitively viable and then not as competitively viable. Not necessarily that they can't be played, not necessarily that they can't win events or take games off of higher tiered higher characters, but that you can say these characters have what it takes to be mained by people who are seriously looking to win this game, and here are these characters that don't have as many tools, and that by itself is a tier list. You could just make like a tier. This tier is good. This tier is not as good.
Right, and I think it's a short conversation. I think we all agree that tiers exist for the most part. When you get into a competitive community, I find that the higher level players, the higher level you are, the kind of more of a gap you notice within characters.
Yeah.
Like, at a casual audience, like they're gonna like take your casual brawl player who like the kid who picked Meta Knight because he saw Meta Knight was S tier on like a brawl tier list, and then he did nothing that made at Meta Knight like S tier. He was like, I can F smash with the best of them. Like that's not at that point. It's not like yes, a tier doesn't matter. Tiers matter the higher level play you get. That's I think in general we all agree with that. But what do you guys when kind of the idea of a tier list? Do you think there is such a thing as a premature tier list?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes, you can definitely make a premature tier list.
Okay. I'm going to let you guys get on your points because I actually have a counterpoint on that.
Okay. Well, in doing some research for this show, I went and looked up when the tier lists for Melee and Brawl came out. Mm-hmm. And all this info I got from ssbwiki.com. And so the first Brawl tier list came out on September 1st, 2008, which was about 5+ months away from the game's launch. So about a half a year after Brawl came out, the community, the Brawl backroom made their first tier list. Yeah. The first Melee tier list was released October 8th, 2002, which was 11 months after, because I believe Melee came out on launch with the GameCube, or like in early December, right after the GameCube came out, or something like that. So 11 months, give or take, after Melee came out, the competitive community made their tier list. And so now currently we are 10 months out from the 3DS's release, and we're approximately 8 from the Wii U's release, which many people would say is when the community actually started playing the game competitively, because 3DS. And
3DS.
And we're still not really anywhere close to establishing a tier list. And I think that the scene is ready to have a very formal tier list formed right around now. But in answer to your question, when is too early? I like I said, I like right now. We've had a couple of good majors, and you can really start to take what the competitive community really values from a tier list, which is tournament results.
Okay. Cappy, you got any points to add to that before I jump in here?
Yeah. A lot of the time, like, we all remember when Smash 4 videos were being released, and people were, like, talking about how good a character is going to be just based on, like, those introduction videos.
Palutena, though.
Right. People looked at Palutena's up smash, and they were like, this character's going to be amazing. And then...
Here she is, and she's terrible.
She has an F.
So, to be honest, like, I think a good time to make a tier list, the best time to make a tier list is after you have, like Sturm said, like, you have a couple majors to really feel it out. Like, we've had CEO, we've had EVO, we've had a lot of regionals. I mean, people have been out of state, out of country has come already. Now you can really get a picture of what it's like. But that's not to say that a tier list is necessarily bad in the beginning, because I feel like in the beginning, at that point, it's like a popularity contest.
Yeah, I mean, how high did we see, like, Little Mac on early tier lists? And
then the popularity contest, it, like, kind of wades away as results
even if you look at those tier lists that were made remember, I cited when those tier lists were made, that one, the Brawl one, was 6 months out of launch, and DDD was 3rd on it. And where is DDD in the... Rob was high
number 2. There. Rob was number 2.
He was number 2?
I'm pretty sure, right below Meta Knight.
I don't know it.
Or he was in top 5.
Snake was top.
Okay, he was in top 5 though. Rob was in top 5.
Snake or Meta Knight, yeah. Rob was high up. And so, like, where did those characters end up going in the competitive meta? They died a horrible death. And so, even those tier lists make mistakes, and we acknowledge that tier lists will make mistakes when looking back on them retrospectively, but we just have enough, I think we have enough data to deliberate it seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to counter with my point here on why I think tier lists are never premature outside of, like, don't make a tier list day 1. Like, that's premature. But, like, let's say after the first relatively large tournament, you make a tier list. In my opinion, tier lists aren't meant to be 100% accurate, because 6 months from now, we could discover tech that makes Palutena's, like, up smash unavoidable out of something. Like, who knows?
Right,
Who knows?
right.
There's always more to be discovered. And I think a tier list isn't so much an examination of the game's overall state as it is the game's current meta and where it stands now. And it's interesting when you can go back and you see these various tier lists from across the board, as long as they're like time-stamped and you know when they're from, to see the evolution of what happened with the game and see why characters fell and why some characters rose. Because let's say in a scenario where in 6 months from now we're starting to see Meta Knight people play Meta Knight against Sheik. If in 6 months from now we decide that Meta Knight hard counter Sheik and Sheik is no longer number 1, and you from a tier list now where Meta Knight is maybe 20th or something like that to a tier list in 6 months, you see Meta Knight number 2 and Sheik is number 7. All of a sudden you can see that, hey, Meta Knight rose on the tier list, and you understand that was part of the reason why Sheik kind of fell from the tier list. You can actually go in, look at tier lists as they change from list to list, and see the evolution of the game's meta the more that they come out. So I think it's not so much of a why are these characters better, so much as what is the current meta and what are you expecting to see when you go to a tournament.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. The problem is that I think the mass majority think it's the other way.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. I'm sure there's tons and tons of people that go on Reddit for a random thing. They're about to go to their first tournament. They look on a tier list and they're like, this is set in stone. Luigi is number 3. I am going to play Luigi because he's number 3, and nobody can stop me under Luigi because every matchup under Luigi is 8-2.
Yeah.
There are so many people that view that way.
I know.
So it's a problem with when you look at tier lists that way, and I think especially the wider the tier list gets, regardless of what it says, it could say A plus plus, A plus A minus plus, and they could be super super tight tiers. But the more columns you have, the more people are going to think that B tier, even though it's 9 columns down, is way 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 worse than A tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's interesting in Smash 4 because I would argue that Smash 4 has a very narrow tier list, especially compared to a game like Melee, where the difference between Fox and Kirby is just astronomical, crazy different, those two characters in that game. In this game, we're looking at one of the things I linked in our little notes is the R Smash Bros community voted tier list, which you guys can go find on R Smash Bros. It's stickied at the top right now, I think. But on there they have the top character is Sheik, and they have the D tier. The only D tier character is Samus. And the difference between Sheik and Samus is not half of the difference between Kirby and Fox and Melee.
But so the average probably Redditor looking at that is going to see these because there's how many gaps are there in that tier list? 12.
There are a lot. There's 11.
Yeah.
But it only goes from A to D. It's not it goes that far. There's so many pluses and minuses, and the average player is going to see Samus and go, oh, Samus can literally never win a tournament because of how low she is.
And ESAM took a game off Larry Lur with Samus.
Yeah. So I mean, that is a thing to just think about when you're coming up with tiers. And then, so when we're talking about tiers too, I want to talk about how kind of the way to go about looking at them is. Is it an analysis of a character's overall strengths? Is it an analysis of matchups? Is it solely based on tournament results? How do you think you should kind of go about creating a tier list?
Oh, man.
If you were going to make one, what is the primary factor? It's a broad question.
Yeah.
Yoshi. Everything else that's garbage. But really, are you talking about if I were going to make a tier list that I would say represents the community as a whole?
Yeah, what do you think, when, let's say the Brawl Backroom tournament or tier list, what did they take into account of their tier list? Was it all kind of based on matchups? Was it based on tournament? Was it kind of a broad spectrum of everything, of your just current metagame?
I believe those two things are the most important, is tournament results and matchup data.
Yeah, about.
I would say it's 40% that, or 40% each of those, and then 20% miscellaneous meta, what's the most not not like what's the most popular character, but it does matter whatever.
If it was what's the most popular character, you'd be like Captain Falcon. Everyone.
Or Sheik.
Or Sheik.
Or
Yeah.
Mario.
Now he's Chicago.
That's the thing. Back in March, we went to End the Pain, and how many Captain Falcons were there? There were like 2,800 Captain Falcons. And now we go to these tournaments, and now we go to Chicago locals, and you just see Sheik every round. It's something that does change monthly, the popularity of characters.
Mm-hmm. I think popularity is something you don't really take into account outside of popularity within maybe top 16. Because that represents that these characters are show. Like if you see,
popularity at the highest level, yes.
Yes. So yeah, that's a good point. And then Cappy, I know you had interesting points about tier list.
Well, I think tier lists suck. So, here's the thing. So I align myself very closely with how Zero thinks about tier lists. Okay. I think the way he approaches it is the way I would closely align myself. Results first, then character, then like the concept of a character, then matchups, then popularity.
Okay, so you're kind of focused. Like your style of tier list is more focused on what is the relevance of the character to me going into a tournament.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, because it doesn't really matter who you play. I don't know. It's hard because a tier list, like it's hard because let's say like going with your Meta Knight rises to the top. What if Meta Knight's super good, but no one really good is playing him right now?
Right.
Like my problem with tier lists, like I have with everything, is that people put the character the character's too important. Sheik is where Sheik is today because Mr. R and Zero are leading the charge, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Imagine if Zero and Mr. R didn't play Sheik. Like, imagine if Zero like picked a different character or only stuck with Diddy. Like, Diddy would be higher.
Like, what if Zero started playing, like, Ryu tomorrow and, like, only played Ryu in tournament? Are we going to see Ryu in top 5?
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, at some point, you have to disregard that that's why, like, you can concept a character all you want, but you need to look at results, because results are where the good players are placing. Like, you could have 1 billion people playing Sheik because she's the best character, but the best Sheiks are the good players, and they're the ones who will be getting those results that propel that character to the top.
Well, no, I think that's part of it. You're neglecting the other part of the issue, which is these are top of the line players, right? And they, when looking at a character's skill set, they recognize that this is the character that will get me the most results. That is definitely why Zero is playing Sheik, bar none, is the character and how good the character is.
I agree.
Because that will allow Zero to get the most results with the least amount of effort. And I don't mean to say that in a way that Sheik is effortless. I mean to say that in a way that Sheik gets the most mileage out of his reads and his solid play.
No, I understand. The thing is, like, for a tier list, the most accurate part of a tier list are its, like, top 10 characters.
Definitely.
Because Sheik and Rosalina and Luigi and a couple of, those other, like Diddy, Pikachu, those other characters that are really good, that everyone can pretty much see are very good, they all have a different style to them. And those top players will gravitate to those styles, and they will win with those characters. So Zero chooses Sheik not only because she's the best, but because it fits his style. It's why he likes Diddy. Diddy fits the way he plays, and that's why he can beat Mr. R 3-0 with him. So the problem is the biggest problem with a tier list is when people get to mid-tier or mid-high tier. That's when it gets crazy, because that's where the most controversy is. Because people want their character to be viable, but when you talk about a matchup, you get so, I don't know.
I think a really good representation of just kind of that point is Wario in Smash 4's lifetime. Wario, as when you look at him from a Japan versus USA perspective. So Wario in USA tier list has never broken top 10 and has been as low as like 27th, I think was the lowest I ever found him. And Wario and we have, how many Wario players are there right now in the USA that you can name?
None. I don't
Exactly.
know. Maybe Reflex.
I mean,
I don't even know if he plays Wario.
Yeah, I don't even know if he still does. I know at one point he sometimes did. But then Japan, you look at their tier list past like 3DS days, Wario has never not been in top 10. I'm pretty sure from what I've seen. They had Wario as like what, top 5 last tier list or something like that. It was really high. So that's something that when you look at a tier list, like you look at America's, you look at Japan's, and this character, obviously the representation is big in Japan. You have Abadango, probably the best Wario player in the world right now. And then you have the US with no-name Warios. So this character is making top 5 in Japan because of the representation, because that's the relevant character.
Don't forget Villager. Same argument.
Yes, Villager's the same argument. Villager's never broken top 10, or he's probably broken like 9th or something like that here in Chicago, in the USA. But what was he in Japan's tier list recently? Like 6th?
Top 5. He's top 5 typically, like 5th or 6th or 4th.
Yeah, and they have Renai, who's like destroying tournaments with Villager. Who also, if you haven't seen his Villager,
it's insane.
Super aggro.
It's so fun to watch.
I know. It's like I can't be mad at this character. Like he's just hopping and like pulling slingshots like 900 times.
Yeah. But see, and you know what? Japan is really good for me. Japan makes a lot of why I don't like tier lists. The difference between America and Japan's tier lists are a good reason why I don't like it.
Well, a tier list is supposed to be... I think that's fine, because a tier list is supposed to be representative of a metagame.
Right, and that's the correct way to approach it.
We're viewing the Smash 4 character strength through the lens of American Smash 4 play. And Japan is viewing it through their lens, which also, I should mind you, has a 3-stage list.
That is a big deal.
Smashville, Final Destination, and Battlefield. And that's a big factor, because you see Sonic is generally considered top 3 there because of how he plays on a 3-stage list.
Right. So but I'm saying, like, people look at a tier list and they think it's the end-all be-all.
And it's not.
Yeah, I think that's the mindset that we all have to move away from, is that it's an analysis of your metagame. It's not an analysis of the game. Like,
I also don't think it's an analysis of the character either.
Right, I think it's
which is the big problem.
Yeah, I think it's... I honestly, like, to me, there needs to be, like, a little note attached before every single tier list, or even a whole new name or something like that, just to avoid that stigma that this is the character's placement. Like, Wario is mid-tier, or Wario is high-tier. Like, so many things could change throughout the course of a game that it can be just different. Like, you have to understand that this character may show up as mid-tier currently, not because his tools are poor, his matchups are poor, or anything like that, but because he's just underrepresented by the top players of the community. All it takes is one top player, and the easiest analogy for this is Leo from Mexico. It takes one top player to make somebody put a character as top tier. And I saw Gunblade put out a tier list like 4 days after the Mexico tournament, and he had Meta Knight as number 8.
Yeah.
Like, it's that simple. You see one big upset, and you're like, oh, this character's amazing! And everybody's on the train.
Yeah.
So...
tier lists are as much a vision of our perception of the game as it is of the game.
Right.
Basically, is what everyone needs to know.
And the thing, to zone in on Smash 4 in particular, a big problem with tier lists right now is the split with customs.
Oh, totally.
Because Zero's tier list is a customs environment, but a lot of people will make one without it. And a character could jump with customs.
I think Rosalina jumps with customs, like that, just coming from a main. Like, Rosalina with customs is second best in the game, hands down, to me. Rosalina without customs, top 5-ish, could be out of that range. In my opinion. Again, that's my opinion. I know a lot of people will disagree with that, but hey. So that is a big deal. Yeah, customs on, customs off.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So, anyways, so we wanted to do a little section, and I think now is the perfect time transitioning from tier lists, because tier list is the analysis of everybody else. Now let's move in more centralized towards players. We want to do kind of a discussion about improvement and how players improve and what's like the correct mindset to improve upon and stuff like that. And Cappy, I know you have plenty to say, so I'm gonna leave this floor to you.
I mean, I have 4 blog posts on it. If you want to ask a question, or else I can just start going.
I say just start going.
All right,
Sir and I will chime in as needed.
So let's talk about. Okay, well let's bounce off the tier list then. Okay, the right way to look at a tier list is an analysis of the current meta, and the current meta is defined by its best players. The important thing to know about that is that it's putting the player over the character. A lot of people, and believe me, everyone will do this when they first play Smash. You pick your character, you find your main, and that main starts to define you. You're the Fox guy, the Pikachu guy. You know, like, your identity is almost stripped away by the character. You are the character at that point. And that's great. You could be that really good Pikachu, but you're not just a really good Pikachu if you're winning tournaments. You're a really good player. You could decide, hey, I don't want to play Pikachu. I'm going to play Yoshi next. And you could still probably win.
Don't play Yoshi.
But, I mean, the analogy works. You could pick a different character and still have a relatively good chance of winning. Provided that you're good enough to adapt to the style that you need to play effectively. Oh, the character can adapt to you. So the biggest problem, and I think I've said this in every single blog post, I'm pretty sure I have, is that every player who wants to improve needs to put player over character when looking at the game, no matter what. You can't look at a character and just that's it. Because, like you guys were talking about, it takes one good player to make a character seem better than maybe they actually are. Or worse than they are actually better. Right?
Every time I watch Street Fighter, Evo Top 8 or whatever, I see a character and I'm just like, or I see someone, whoever goes on like that long losers run, I'm just like, I need to play that character now. That guy makes him look so fun.
Yeah, right? You watch these really good players and you're like, oh my god. Like, say you're playing, I don't know, you're just starting out to play Zero Suit, right? And then you see Nairo play Zero Suit. And you're like, oh my god, that's what I want to do. Like, that's what I want to be able to do to people. I want to just destroy them with Zero Suit. I want to up air them, I want to up B them, I want to spike them, I want to do all that. But you ain't going to get there on Zero Suit. Like, you ain't going to start doing down throw up air like it's a Tuesday eating cereal. You're going to have to put in some work. Like, the player is part of that. Nairo knows. Sometimes it looks like he knows when someone's going to air dodge and punish it appropriately. But you're not going to do that. You're going to up air that third time, and you're going to go right through an air dodge and get hit. Like, when you start out. It's just the way it's going to be.
Right. And I think, yeah, it's definitely, a lot of people they'll look at a matchup and they'll be like, oh, this is, like, they lose maybe to, like, the same character from, like, 3 different players. And they don't look at it as, oh, I'm worse than these 3 different players. It'll be like, if those 3 players played Mario, they'll be like, oh, my character loses to Mario.
Yeah.
And they won't be...
Oh, man. That's the biggest downfall of every player. Going in, so like, have you ever, I don't know, any player that goes into a matchup and they come out and they're like, dude, I can't win against this character, and it's like, yes, you can. You can win.
You can be a better player. Like, there are plenty of players out there that beat bad matchups. And here's one thing that I will always talk about when discussing players who, when they lose to a character so much, they are like, I'm picking up a secondary for this character. So let's say you went 6 months into a tournament, or like into tournament play, playing Yoshi, and like you get down and like all of a sudden this great Sheik main comes out, and you can't beat him.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, I'm picking up a new character just to play against Sheik.
That's picking up Sheik for Sheik.
That's 6 months.
Who invited Green Beast into the chat?
Of play. That's 6 months of play with Yoshi that is not going to transfer to your new character. You're starting over with a new character.
Yes.
You have to learn a new meta and new matchups.
Yes.
It doesn't just, like, you can't just be 6 months in as Yoshi and then be at the same level of Yoshi with, like, Sheik and to counter Sheik. So all these players who are like, I need to just, like, pick up a brand new character for this matchup, that should be the last resort.
And the important thing is, let me just mention the outliers before we get further on with this point. The outliers of Free Beast, Green Beast, and Bo Scotty is that when they say that they're picking up a secondary for a matchup, they lab it. They go and they make sure, like, they do not half-ass it. They go in, and, like, Green put, like, 3 weeks of lab work in on his Sheik before he started using it in tournament, and now it's a monster. The same thing with his Luigi. Like, he just starts by picking up a character and having fun with it, but then he goes and he tests every move in training mode, and he goes in with Sheldon, and he tries out all these different scenarios, and he's a lab monster. So if you're thinking of doing something like that, I'm not saying that counterpicking is a bad idea. Counterpicking can be a good idea, but it is not an easy solution.
Right. It's a lot of players view it as, oh, hey, I just need to play, like, 4 characters and just pick always beneficial matchups. It's like, I mean, yes, you have the matchup benefit, if you even view it that way, like, if that's even true, but at the same time, this guy might be playing, like, Rosalina for 2 years now when the game is that old, and you pick up, like, a Pikachu for 4 months. Like, who do you think understands the matchup more? Your 4-month Pikachu or this 2-year Rosalina?
Right.
And, like, yes, it might be beneficial for you Pikachu might win, assuming you've been playing Pikachu as long and you know the matchup better than this guy. Chances are he's run into more Pikachus than you've run into Rosalinas.
And the thing is, to be perfectly honest, I don't think you should be picking up a new character until at least a year. I'm dead serious. Like, you shouldn't be even thinking about counterpicking until a year. It's just the way I think it is. You never really truly understand a character until you've played them for at least a year.
Mm-hmm.
And you can think you have, but you definitely have not. You have definitely not played every single matchup.
And you haven't grinded every single matchup.
Yeah.
You can play, like, there's probably, like, 9 characters on the list of just characters in general that most people have probably never even played in tournament. I would say average 9 characters is just a random number guess, but that seems reasonable, right?
Right, and then you theory craft about those 9 characters with you against your character, and you think you're ready for the matchup, and then you play somebody and they destroy you, and you're like, well, wait a minute, what happened?
Right?
Like,
it's so, like, it's the easy mentality to take of, oh, hey, I just need to play a character that doesn't lose the matchup. It's not necessarily the right way to go about it. If you lab and you can't figure out a way, then sure, maybe start to try to figure it out. Start maybe kind of experimenting with something different. Because obviously it's not working for you. But if you lab and you, like, inevitably you're gonna figure something out.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. You figure out spacing, you figure out timing. I mean, you figure out that perfect percent for your kill throw. I mean, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, when you go into a matchup, you should never go in thinking that the matchup's unwinnable, even if it's hard. I go into matchups thinking, man, this is gonna be tough, but I never think I can't win. Because when I look at a matchup, I'm thinking, okay, like let's say I'm playing Kirby for a moment here, and I go against Mario, and I'm like, okay, Mario's faster than me, right? So crossing him up is going to be harder. He can't combo me as well with up tilt up air, so I have that. If I spike him, he's dead. If I down air him off stage, he can cape and flood final cutter, so I have to be careful of that. I have to make sure I recover low sometimes or mix it up, But if you notice, as I'm talking about it, I'm not thinking about, oh, it's going to be hard. I'm thinking, okay, what do I need to look out for? What can Mario do to me? What can I do to him? What's my optimal play here? Like, how should, like, what if, like, think, oh, if he's a campy Mario, I can air camp him and probably bait him out of something because he'll panic when I get close. If he's an aggressive Mario, I can play a more ducky Kirby and try and duck to get under some hitboxes and punish or get a grab. Like, that's the kind of stuff you should be thinking about as you're walking up, as you're sitting down to play your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be thinking, man, this matchup sucks, because
like,
you're gonna lose.
I'm a prime example of that, in that when I first started coming to tournaments, I was already doing like really well. Like I went to my first tournament and I placed third, and like so I was pretty confident like going to my second one,
Right.
and I still did well, but that was the first time I played Hoenn, and I had never played against Pikachu really. Like just it was foreign to me to start off, and I did okay, but like I lost, and then for the next like 4 times I played Hoenn, I lost again. And I could not figure out that matchup. And, like, I went into this moment where I was like, should I pick a different character for Pikachu? What the hell should I do? This is stupid. And I was like, wait, no. I'm just being silly. Like, I just need to lab this out. So I started labbing it, and then I totally understood the neutral after, like, 2 weeks of labbing it. Like, I understood that I could crouch and crawl backwards to mess up his timing on his fares. I understood, like, the power shield timings and things like that. And all of a sudden, the next 3 times I played Hoenn, I beat him.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there. You put in the work, you're gonna do well.
And it was never like, oh, Pikachu just wins. It was an analysis of, how do I need to recover against Pikachu? Right. What can I do to make him feel unsafe off stage? And that was when I discovered, like, you can gravitational pull the Thunder to spike him. I can actually throw out Nair to try and challenge like quick attack a lot, and I can mix up my recoveries and land with Luma and like Luma back air while I'm landing to make him respect me landing on stage. It's just you have to discover. There's always something else to discover about a matchup, and until you've discovered it, you might not know exactly what to do in that situation. You just need to lab more.
Right, and there's only a few, very select few, in any game really, where a matchup is so simple that it's actually almost unwinnable. But to be quite honest, I think in traditional fighters, those matchups are actually, man, I don't know the word. I guess stretched out. Like, they're more extreme. It's like if a character really can't get in on another character in Street Fighter, it's hard to do. It's hard to like actually mix up or be smart enough to get in sometimes. Like sometimes you will lose. But in a game like Smash, where you have way more movement options and a ridiculously powerful shield, there's a lot of stuff you can get away with.
Yeah, and I also look at it in a sense of, like, when you discuss matchups like that, and, like, people love to throw out extreme matchup numbers. People are like, 8-2, 7-3.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, no.
When I truly believe that outside of a select few matchups in this game, there's nothing lower than 6-4. Or 4-6. Yeah. Because, and the way I look at it is, coming from not, like, I started in not Smash. Like, I'm not just a Smash player. I played Injustice, and I played BlazBlue, and I played PlayStation All-Stars. So, in, like, things like Injustice and BlazBlue, like, to say a matchup is 8-2 is to pretty much say that this character has, like, a tool that the other character has truly no answer for. And, like, that's not a thing in Smash. There's no 50-50 mix-ups. There's no, like, block string into command grab that you can't do anything about on Wake Up. Like, it's not a thing in this game. Because of, I'm not going to say how limited the options are, how limited the offensive options are. Defensive options they're infinite, with just movement, shielding, rolling, and things like that. Like, just the way the game is designed, the defense is so expanding, and offense is very limited to grab or attack. Like, it's not like you're hitting low, mid, high, overhead.
Right.
So when you look at it that way, it's a broad sense of defense versus a very narrow offense. And I think in that sort of sense, it's hard to say that a matchup could ever be 8-2.
Yeah, I agree.
The highest number I ever give any matchup is 65-35.
I give 7-3.
I'm usually pretty scared to give a matchup 65-35.
I give 7-3 against one matchup, and that would be Rosalina versus Charizard. I think Rosalina decimates Charizard.
I think that's 65-35 Yoshi versus Charizard.
The shots.
The shots.
Charizard confirmed bad.
You didn't need to look at a tier list to figure that out.
Yo, where's Handyman?
Oh man.
All right.
But yeah, it's to think about the game with character first is wrong, and everything that comes from that is everything that we've just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about player first, you start to think about things that will help you more. Like, even if Sheik is way better in the neutral, you can find a pattern that a player has with their Sheik. Even Zero has a pattern.
Zero, actually, if you really, really analyze his play, is a very binary player.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean he picks X option or like Y option when you do X. But because he picks the perfect option when you do X, he never picks the wrong option, really. That's a big deal.
Well, and because if you start making it so that he's picking the wrong option, he adapts quickly enough to pick the right one.
Right. So like
he
if
understands that.
So yeah, he's just like he'll always do X when you do Y, but because it's so perfect, like he just understands he understands that his option beats your option, and unless you do something different, it doesn't matter. He's just gonna change whatever his option is to match yours.
Yep. I mean, that's what it is. So if you find a Sheik that double fares every time he's short, like he full hops, it doesn't matter how bad your character is, you can punish that.
Yeah, I mean, Power Shield is a thing. Like, when you have frame 1 reaction on anything, there are punishes.
Yep.
Alright, but anyway, so I think that'll pretty much wrap up our improvement section. If you guys want to see more or read more about it, Cappy does excellent blog posts. I always read them, and I plug them whenever I get the chance about improvement and stuff like that for you. But check out his stuff. Your website, go ahead, and if you want to just give that out.
Yeah, it's RyanClaproth.com, which is my first and last name.
I'll go ahead and put a link to that as well in the description for the YouTube when it goes up. It should go up tonight. I'm going to pretty much immediately upload it. But if there's any viewer questions that we have, go ahead and shout them out, guys. Otherwise, is there anything else you guys want to talk about real quick? Maybe about the local Chicago scene or the international scene?
I want to say...
go ahead.
I want to talk about TSM 0.
TSM 0.
That's a thing.
That is height. Him and Leffen.
Zero and Leffen are a interesting pair, but they are now the TSM face of Smash. And
what a deadly face of Smash.
It is the first Smash 4 player to be picked up by a large-scale team. And that's
deservingly so, considering how many tournaments.
If it were anyone else, it would have been wrong, probably.
To be perfectly honest, I think it's strange that he's getting picked up now and not earlier when he was like.
The story is he had a lot of offers on the table, and he was waiting for the right one.
Okay.
So everybody recognized how freaking dominant he was. He is.
You know what? Yeah, TSM's a solid choice.
He is reaching close to Bonjour status. If you're familiar with that word. It is a word from the StarCraft Korean community, which means basically a god. It basically means a legend. It means someone like Flash. If you're familiar with the names Flash or Jaedong, Stork, from these Brood War characters, and how dominant they were during the life of that game. But my question to all of y'all and to the chat as well is, who do you think might be the next Smash 4 player to be picked up by a high-level pro team?
Ooh. Has Mr. R been picked up by somebody?
I think he does have a sponsor. Let me. I'll do the research, but until then,
I feel like he has a sponsor. He has to.
I think he does.
He always wears those jerseys.
I mean, Ally has a full-time sponsor. It's Boreal Esports, and it's
right.
It's a Canadian team, right?
He was picked up. I think he was picked up by that.
Cloud9. It's not like a Team Liquid. You know, it's not the top level of esports. And it says on his Smash Wiki page, his crew is Lowland Lions. I don't know if that's actually a sponsor or a.
I think that's probably a crew, not a sponsor.
Professional gamer for Lowland Lions. Lowlandlions.com.
Okay.
His favorite fruit is watermelon.
You know what? Actually, could be. Chad is saying Nairo. Nairo definitely could. It deserves to be picked up by at least like a mid-level like sponsorship. High level if he starts to kind of really take that next step and get second or third always at these top events.
There were rumors of him with Team Liquid. I don't know how true those rumors are.
Yeah. Here's an interesting thought. Leo, coming out of nowhere. He generated a lot of hype.
Yeah.
That kid, if he starts to travel, who knows? I mean, if he beat the second best or the number 2 player at Evo, so
I could see him getting picked up by. Are you guys familiar with the organization Root Gaming?
no.
Their roots are in StarCraft, but they also have expanded to Dota and to Hearthstone and some other maybe Counter-Strike. But they're run by a eccentric individual with a Hispanic Latin American background, and I could see Leo gelling really well with that. I could see Root trying to fly him out, trying to get that buzz.
Yeah, for sure.
He's the current.
This is the challenger.
He's probably the most talked about player next to Zero right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the wild card.
Yeah, he's the one that nobody knows, because everybody knows that like Zero is just godlike right now. Like nobody believes that anyone can challenge Zero, and now this kid comes along and people have like faith that he might be able to do it.
To be honest, I don't at all.
I don't either.
Nope.
Because I think even though Leo destroys Sheiks apparently just in general, I think Zero's Diddy Kong is just too good. And you take away that 50-50 ground game that Meta Knight has with Banana, and it's like, all right, now what?
Yeah, that's a tough matchup.
Meta Knight's too slow in the air.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. So, like, as soon as there's a Banana on the ground, it's like, what does Meta Knight do? But any Chicago stuff you guys want to talk about real quick?
Well, we've got...
Didn't Demitis go on a train?
Remember, guys, to ask questions in the chat. Just before we get into this, Demitis, we actually talked about that last week, I think.
Oh, was it last week? I have yet to watch last week. I was super busy last week.
Where he beat Akiro in losers finals. And beat Dan, resetting the bracket, and then again. But Dan was the winner of this GGA without dropping a game, according to my sources.
Wow.
Who was there? Was it Knight was there, JJ was there, and Demitis was there?
Yeah.
So that's 3 top 10 players that he didn't drop a game to.
Yeah, I'm looking at the standings right now. Knight, Demitis, Tyra. It doesn't look like JJ was there.
Good stuff, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations to him. That's super hype.
Gamerhead was there.
Quick congratulations to one of the Chicago players, Excelmel, who is engaged now.
Oh, yeah. Yep, congrats.
Yes, that's a big deal.
So let's
she's
go.
a good friend of mine from the Brawl days.
To Mel.
Yeah.
Congrats to you.
She's a Robin main that goes to GHQ mostly. I would like to see her coming out to more stuff. I actually don't think I've ever played her.
She's very interesting. Her Robin style, very interesting.
She made that splash at Combo Breaker.
Yeah, she made top 16 at Combo Breaker.
Big deal.
As Robin before Robin buffs, and now Robin's buff. So I would like to see if she starts to kind of. I would love to see her come out to an E2C monthly for one.
Yeah.
I really want her to come out to an E2C monthly and see how she does there.
That'd be fun.
Oh yeah, and the newcomer we talked about earlier, Tyroy. He's still doing well.
Oh yeah, he's doing
Big Mac
amazing.
is starting to take names too, as long as we're talking about Chicago.
Chicago.
Big Mac getting second at Geek Bar in a bracket that was not as stacked as GGA yesterday, but was relatively stacked.
Right. And I know there's been a conversation now between is Big Mac better than Tyroy or is Tyroy better than Big Mac. It's something we can't actually state until we kind of see how they compare in a longer sense.
Get a rivalry going. That should be fun to see.
Those
two should be vying for that spot.
Because Big Mac was sitting at 26. He was just out of the top 25 PR. And Tyroy now is gonna. I know he wants in on that PR.
Oh, he'll probably get in.
I could see him.
He's going to school at U of I, but he will be here with enough time with his breaks to go to weeklies and make sure that his qualification is still fresh.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see kind of how that compares. We'll see when the next PR drops. Who's higher?
Also, JT Wild, I heard did pretty well against Zero, at least in one set. He did okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Zero gave him some shout-outs on Twitter.
Yeah, so that's...
gave him the wrong name, JP.
I mean, that's awesome, though. I mean...
Yeah, I mean...
You gotta feel good about your Mario.
When the best player in the world, bar none, gives you props on Twitter.
Right, yeah, and he's already played Ally.
Yeah. Like, he's played the best Mario. And speaking of Mario, Low Tier City, 2 Marios in top 3.
Yup.
I,
for one, accept our Mario overlords.
I still think... I think Mario could could be top 5.
Who was the third
Legit.
Mario? I know Ally.
Zenryu.
Zenryu. Where's he from?
Zenyu. I don't know.
Yeah, Zenyo. Or Zenyu.
Okay, I think I've heard that actually.
I don't actually know what state he's from.
Well, good stuff.
But yeah, he took 3rd, right? It was Zenyo in 3rd, and then Ally at 2nd.
Does anyone know where the Fire and Dice
then
Weekly
0.
is?
Yeah, and then 0, of course.
Fire and Dice Weekly. He's in a lot of YouTube videos for the Fire and Dice Weeklies, which are in Woodland Hills, California. So
okay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. That's where he is. That's where he's from.
So California. All right. So that's hype. So we're seeing a Mario rise all of a sudden, which I know there's a lot of players that struggle with Mario. So we'll see if that matchup kind of that's a matchup that people are gonna have to start getting on lock.
Yo, someone's asking, what are our thoughts comparing Luigi and Mario?
I think in the long run, we're going to see Mario at a higher level than Luigi.
I agree.
On a tier list.
Definitely. Mario, I think, is a more fundamentally solid character. Luigi has more burst damage, to borrow terms from Dota. I've been watching the International today. Sorry.
I feel you.
I feel you. That tournament's insane. But let me get back on topic.
I think, especially in that matchup, or in just the comparison, Mario has more tools than Grab and Fireball. I think Mario has a really, really solid overall kit. And I think Luigi's overall kit is not the most amazing. It's really good, don't get me wrong. But, like, he lacks neutral in some areas. Like, Mario can challenge Sheik and Rosalina in neutral. I don't think Luigi can.
Luigi's neutral's kind of questionable.
And with Luigi's nerfs now on the couple frames of end lag on Fireball and the less hits, I don't know if it's less hit stun or whatever, but most characters can jab out of Fireball to grab. You just have to mash it super fast.
Right, and you can't... Luigi's neutral game suffers because of Fireball nerf.
Definitely.
Like
right.
One of the things I specifically remember Zero talking about Luigi was Fireball made his neutral incredibly easy. To take that away from him makes it much harder for him to get in.
So we'll have to... I'm now curious, like, how that's going to affect his placement. And I think both him and Ness sit on this level. Like, shields are super powerful in Smash 4, don't get me wrong. But I think there still are a lot of players that are adjusting to the don't get grabbed style game that you have to play against them. So I think as time goes on, Ness and Luigi will drop a little bit. In the current meta, they are super relevant.
Oh yeah.
But take a look at
once people get that like spacing for their aerials down to safely like get away, like to jump forward and then throw out a back arrow or forward air and retreat, and Luigi cannot punish that.
Yoshi can F smash Luigi's not perfect shield and just not get punished at all.
Yeah.
It's actually silly the stuff you can get away with on Luigi's regular shield.
So I think and here's a prime example. Top 32 at Evo. How many Luigis were there?
One.
One. I was waiting for the response. I was like, nobody?
It was Con.
Yeah.
I was going to say Luigi
0.
in one game, but he didn't really rely on Luigi.
It was 0. So like you have the best players from all over the nation coming together, and one Luigi there's good Luigis across the whole nation. But only one of them makes it to top 32. And you see Wii Fits and Game & Watches and stuff in top 32. There were more Wii Fits in top 32 than there were Luigis. Like, what does that say? I think it means that top players understand how to fight against Luigi, and not so much high-level players.
And you know what? The thing is, like, Luigi has the burst damage, and he has a kill throw, but he has to get it.
Right.
He has to earn it. Mario doesn't have to earn it as much sometimes.
I think Mario has the better edge game. Mario has the better neutral in general. And I think he has a better disadvantage state as well. I think Mario escapes combos a little bit better than Luigi does. Except Luigi has Nair. Luigi's Nair is a big deal.
Yeah, Mario has up B, and that thing works wonders.
That is... Up B on Mario is godlike. That has ruined many of my Luma jabs.
It's good.
Alright, so that about wraps us up on time here, guys. So if there's any more quick questions from the chat that they want to throw out, but I guess we'll start doing a little wrap-up. Cappy, I'm going to go ahead and throw your blog post section. Guys, I really encourage you to check it out. It has great stuff about mindset and matchups and things like that. So
just a forewarning, it's not your typical way you think about the game.
No, it's a really unique read, and I think everybody, top players included, can kind of learn something from that mindset. I think it's a very unique mindset.
Yeah.
And then Knight's trying to call me out to Rosa Dittos. We already did that once, and he lost $10. We'll see if it happens again.
Yo.
That was a long time. Actually, I haven't played Knight in like non-customs Rosa Dittos
like
in
eons, right?
Since like
an entire century.
Yeah, I think the last time we played was customs on. So, do I go to the tournaments in Crystal Lake? I'm going to start going to the tournaments in Crystal Lake. I went to the one at Networks because I was in town visiting my parents, but I'm gonna start going to the Carry one, the Tech and Roll stuff at some point. Yeah, because it's hometown. I gotta support hometown.
You'd be not on this show.
Well, we're gonna see how we're kind of gonna keep because this show is definitely gonna keep going. Don't worry about that. We may have to do like a different time one day or something. But yeah, I do want to go to GGA as well.
Definitely.
So yeah,
go to a tournament.
I'll probably
Cappy, please come out.
I'll probably GHQ another time.
I gotta go to GHQ as well. I don't know the GGA crowd super well, and I don't know the GHQ crowd super well. Outside of like the players that travel, like obviously I know Knight Demitis and I know Dan and Tugo and the guys who travel all the time. But I don't know like the lower players. Like there's still names I don't recognize. I don't like that. I want to know everyone in the community.
Yeah, community's pretty neat.
So anyways, I'll go ahead and sign off. I'm Sage. You guys can follow me at Twitter on Twitter at SmashTalkSage. I got plenty of stuff to talk about, and I'll tweet out about this show, about streams and things like that. So follow me on there, guys, if you want to take it over.
Yep.
My name's Lord Sturm. You can follow me at LordSturm473. I tweet about all sorts of competitive stuff. I'll probably be tweeting more about the International this week. I don't play a drop of Dota 2, but I like watching it a lot, especially when $18 million is on the line. That's a lot of money, guys.
Yo.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
When does Smash get that?
I also tweet. I know, right? I also tweet about competitive Hearthstone, and if you're following my Twitter, you should be hearing in the next day or two about a monthly tournament that we're going to be running next week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. That should be a lot of fun. And then you can hear me rant about how bad I am at singles. But also shout-outs to Chompy and me for winning doubles.
There you go.
Sunday.
Good stuff.
Doesn't matter. You'd lose to me and Cappy.
Yo.
Yeah. Oh, we so would. Maybe.
True. Alright. And guys, I am Cappy. You can follow me at Cappy321. I tweet about random stuff because that's what my Twitter's about, and it's like 70% me uploading stuff from streams. But if you pay attention, you'll get to see when I drop blog posts. And sometimes I talk about Smash.
By the way, I want to reference, guys, because you guys weren't here when we were talking about this earlier. Cappy's ghetto camera is, in fact, a PlayStation 2 iToy.
This is an iToy, kids. That's right.
He's using an iToy to do a podcast.
That's right.
/ stream. That's hype. That's as dedicated as it gets.
Cappy is the MacGyver of podcasts.
Thank you.
Alright, with that, thanks for tuning in, guys. It's been a blast. We will have episode 5 coming to you next week on Monday. If you guys want any topics talked about, tweet at me, tweet at Sturm. Either of us are happy to take your questions, or hit me up on Facebook. But that's all I got. Going to be doing a stream on Wednesday about how to beat Rosalina.
Nice.
That'll be fun.
I'll probably watch.
Because there's so many people that can probably benefit from that stream.
I'm gonna troll that stream really hard. If I can. You know.
You know it.
Alright, so thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good night.
Yep,
All right,
you
peace.
too.